Are you thinking about doing a consumer proposal? Here are the pros and cons. Before we get into the video, my name is Kenny Johnson. I operate a credit repair company here in Canada, and we operate all across the country. We've been operating since 2020. If you need help with your credit, send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. Now let's jump into the topic. Let's start with the pros of a consumer proposal. Now, I don't have all bad things or all negative things to say about consumer proposals. There are some positives, and I do think there's a time and place for a consumer proposal. And one of the benefits that I actually do appreciate about a consumer proposal is that you can consolidate all of your debt, okay? And not only consolidate all of your debt, you can actually, a lot of times that trustee will help you get a discount on the debt. Now, I am not a trustee. Okay, I'm not advocating for a consumer proposal. I have to make that clear. But again, I do believe there's a time and place for a consumer proposal. So you can allocate your debt. You can get a discount on that debt, and you can make monthly incremental payments to repay that debt. Now, the other good thing about a consumer proposal is that it lets you retain your assets to where if you know anything about a bankruptcy, typically you will have to put up some of your valuable assets to cover the debt. Whereas with a consumer proposal, it allows you to protect your assets. But also, one thing that a lot of people don't know is that it protects you legally. Typically, usually before you even start a consumer proposal, you probably have a bunch of a bunch of credit card providers or a bunch of lenders threatening legal action against you. This proposal is kind of like a promissory note telling them, hey, I'm going to make these efforts on a monthly basis to make small incremental payments to pay you back. And then the lender is happy, even though they're not getting the full amount of what they originally paid for back, right? So that is a huge plus. That is a huge positive because then you kind of get that stress off of your shoulder of, oh man, I'm probably about to be sued by Amex, which if you know anything about credit in Canada, Amex is so happy they will throw litigation at you without even thinking. So this can be a huge plus. Now, the last positive that I'll speak to is the fact that you get those fixed monthly payments towards the debt. I kind of already alluded to this earlier in the video, but the reason why I like fixed monthly payments, mainly because it's budget friendly. And if you watch any of my previous videos, I harp passionately on your ability to create a budget. And so if you can work, and I think you should actually budget for this before you actually sign off on a consumer proposal. If you could budget for this, then it makes perfect sense. But if it's not within your budget, do not sign off on the proposal. Don't do it because I'll get into the negatives soon. But the last thing you want to do is fail a proposal. Okay, so make sure you can budget. But it is a positive that it is budget friendly and there's a fixed cost every single month until you complete the proposal. Now the cons are that the proposal typically lasts for 5 years. Okay. Now your trustee is going to put you on a payment plan for 5 years. I've seen some as small as 3 years. I've made a video in the past talking about consumer proposals and how they can last up to 8 years. People misunderstood that. Let me break down because again, these are all the negatives. I want to give you all the negatives because they're positives, but there's for sure negatives. Okay. So when you go on a proposal, that trustee is going to put you on a 5-year repayment plan. You complete the 5 years. Year 6, that proposal ages off of your credit report. Okay. Now, the accounts that are on your credit report, they are still there and they report as an R7. And in the notes of those accounts, it is going to say included in proposal. So even though that proposal is not on your credit report, all of those accounts that were included in the proposal are still there. And those are not removed until 3 years upon completion of the proposal. So let me ask you a question. Is the proposal done? No, it is not done until all remnants of the proposal are gone. Because even though in the public record section the proposal is gone, if I'm a lender and I see a R7 account that says included in proposal, then guess what? You had a proposal. I'm not gonna lend to you. And so that's something that people need to realize is that a proposal truly lasts, especially if you're on a 5-year plan, it truly lasts 8 years. You're on a proposal for 8 years. People need to forget that. And I think a lot of people that comment on the videos are just trustees secretly. But it's an 8-year process. Let's be honest. Okay, that's my rant about how long proposals work. And the only reason why I get so passionate about it is because I see credit reports. I've worked with clients in every single province. I've worked with clients in every single province, and I see it. Now, again, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but the last negative thing is that the accounts turn into R7s. Again, it hurts your credit. We all know that R7 accounts hurt our credit. And again, those aren't going to be removed until you are able to go 3+ years past the 5-year repayment plan and you're discharged. So you need to be discharged. Okay. And then the last negative thing that I really want to speak to is, remember we talked about earlier about you budgeting. Okay. If you don't budget properly for that proposal and you fail that proposal, okay, that is going to stay on your credit report. That is going to send your credit report. And people forget that proposals are still a form of bankruptcy. They're still, to the government tracks that as a bankruptcy. Okay, because the government keeps tracks of all that, they keep track of all this information. That's still a bankruptcy. So if you failed that proposal, you open the floodgate to litigation again. We talked about, so all these pros that we talked about can be turned against you into the negatives. So I'm not gonna constantly throw tomatoes at trustees. I'm not gonna constantly throw tomatoes at bankruptcies or consumer proposals, because at the end of the day, if you're signing up for a consumer proposal, usually, and I understand there's some outlier situations, you put yourself in that situation. Okay. So I can look at both sides of the coin and say, well, you're the consumer, you put yourself in the situation, and the trustee, they take advantage of you. You know, there's some truth. There are some good trustees. If you want to find a good trustee, you can use your government resources. Preferably work with someone within your province. Do research, use common sense, but do something that you can afford. Now, the time to when to use a proposal is when you can no longer make payments towards your debt, and maybe, okay, maybe you're probably facing litigation. A lender is threatening litigation towards you. In a lot of situations, people don't know that the banks have resources. You can call your bank and let them know that you recently got let go from your job. A lot of credit card providers will give you 6 months reprieve to figure things out. Okay, and you have to keep in mind, sometimes all you have to do is just create monthly payments. You do your 6 month reprieve, you're on EI, you find another work opportunity. I understand everything doesn't work as streamlined as we would like it to, but I'm just saying all of this, that you have to use the resources that are available to you. There are so many resources that are available to you. A lot of people are just lazy and they don't want to look into it. They don't want to look it up. But I highly recommend a proposal should be the last option. I'm not a trustee. I'm a credit specialist. I dispute for clients. I help them remove inaccurate information. If you have inaccurate information, such as a proposal that shouldn't be reporting on your credit report, maybe you've been discharged and you don't want to wait those 3+ extra years, and you want to start the disputing process. Maybe you have some collection accounts that are hurting your credit. My company is here. We are here to help you. We are available, and we will be happy to hop on a call with you and discuss your credit. You can send us an email, info@kennyjohnsonuniversity.com. And until next time, peace.